some of my farm help is to help with whatever's going on. And oh, she'd be so wonderful help.
Unsafe for human habitation.
You're not supposed to be living in there.
I paid rent $1,000 a month.
Absolutely did not pay that. Our apartment is in horrid shape right now. She smokes and maggots hatching.
Yes, no good deed goes unpunished.
I have to commend anyone who takes in stray dogs, especially in Michigan in the middle of February. The owners of the place in question didn't have the legal ability to rent it out anyway, as they had been condemned 8 years ago, so Grandma is gonna have to find someplace else to grow old. There are a couple of state agencies on the case, as well as Meg Bauer, landlord tenant law powerhouse, hoping to get this lady the soft landing she needs. In the meantime, I don't know if the owners thought a lady with a walker would be a qualified farmhand, or if our lady is really just a grifter granny. Let's roll, nerds.
All right, let me call a case. We're on the record. It starts at 9:10. We're a little early, but it appears that all of our players are here. The title of this case is Gary and Mary McLean versus Colleen McPherson. And you're Gary McLean.
Yes.
And you're Mary McLean.
Yes.
And you're Colleen McPherson.
Yes.
Also present is Pam Kirkland from Adult Protective Services and Tori Laughlin from Commission on Aging. And Megan Bauer from Legal Aid. Also present is Douglas Kuhlman, is this Fabius Township?
Yes, yes, it is, Your Honor.
Zoning Administrator. So there's more here than meets the eye. What the case is presented here as is a termination of tenancy in Three Rivers. It's in Fabius Township. I'm familiar with this property. There were some small claims cases and other things out there. The McLeans have a small farm there. They want you to move, Miss McPherson. This is called a termination of tenancy action. You are a defendant in a landlord-tenant case regarding the termination of your tenancy. And as such, you have certain rights as a defendant in a landlord-tenant case. First of all, you have the right to hire an attorney. All right, Ms. McLean, at this point, you're all living in the same house at Mooney Lake Road. Is that
That is
correct?
not correct.
All right. Is this the apartment in the barn?
Yes, and when we got our permits in 92 from Mr. Niken, we permitted a farm dwelling inside the barn because we intended on doing livestock and needing agricultural help. So that was built in 93, and I have the original building permits with me.
All right. Is there a lease?
No,
Does she pay rent?
she did a little bit. Mr. Kuhlman pointed out to me that my kindness gets me in trouble every time because he's known me a little bit through this.
It's called no good deed goes unpunished.
His exact words.
I think you heard that from me.
Yeah.
All right. So at this point, how long has she been there?
In January, she appeared with not a dollar to her name and her belongings in a snowstorm, and I allowed her to move in with nothing.
Is she related to you?
No.
How do you know her?
I had known her through Facebook for 2 or 3 years. She'd come out a couple of times and visited, and when I had different things open, and then we visited just prior to that because my goat birthing season was coming on, and my Mr. McLean loves to be able to go away for a little while in the winter, and some of my farm help is to help with whatever's going on. And oh, she'd be so wonderful help. She'd help me with the birthing of the goats and this and that and the other, and seemed like a very nice woman. She only had one pet. And
all right, well, we don't need to get into this
I know.
issue right now, but let me ask Mr. Kuhlman, is this place lawful for habitation?
No, Your Honor, it isn't. And that's the whole problem. Back in May 30th of 2017, an administrative search warrant was executed on this same building, actually the entire property. In May of 2017, this area was placarded as unsafe for human habitation. No enforcement action was taken at that time because Ms. McLean was cooperating. I would just indicate for the courts that I do have 2 open cases coming up on September 23rd. Where on this occasion I did cite Mrs. McLean for 2 violations of township ordinances.
All right, well, let's talk about that. Miss McPherson, they want you to move. You don't have a lease, you're not paying any rent, and the township says you're not supposed to be living in there. Have you made any provision to try to move?
I've been trying to move out of there since February. I paid rent up until June 15th,
How much was the rent?
$1,000 a month. And I have,
Stop. So you paid 1,000 for January, February, March, April, May, and June?
yes,
And you disagree with that?
Absolutely did not pay that.
All right, well,
I did set the rent at 1,000 in February when I could see she would be of no use to the farm and high, so that possibly she might find a place to live. And she was amicable in the beginning.
all right, well, obviously, at some point, you're gonna have to move out of there. So let's hear from Ms. Kirkland of Adult PS. Is Adult PS attempting to help her find a place to live?
We are, Your Honor, and that's why Tony Laughlin, she's with Area on Aging, victim advocate. She is assisting me in helping Colleen find a place. Colleen has been looking locally and as far as Kalamazoo as well.
Ms. Laughlin, have you had any success with that?
We do have potentially an apartment, but it is gonna take a little bit of time.
All right, the law requires that I continue this matter for at least 7 days, which would take us to next Friday. Meg, this doesn't appear to be much of a legal defense. She's not supposed to be living there. They need to get her out of there. We're not asking for money damages at this time. And she's got 2 resources trying to help her find a place to move to.
Judge,
So, yes,
I know your position on this, but is it possible the notice is deficient?
well, let's find out. First of all, let me look at our docket here. Next Friday would be September 5th. What's deficient with the notice?
I am not sure. I haven't seen it, but I do have some notes in front of me regarding this case.
Well, the notice to quit was filed July 16th. No, the complaint was filed July 16th. The eviction notice was something they got off the internet, which looks pretty good. And that was served July 14th. So that may be the problem. The notice to quit was served 2 days before the complaint was filed. No, served on May 10th is what she says. So it was filed at the same time, but it was served on May 10th. That's what my note says. So it appears to be adequate notice.
Thank you, Judge.
At any rate, we're not arguing now about money. This is about possession. If you move and the McLeans sue you for rent, we could have another hearing. That's problematic. A, you've been placarded, so you're not supposed to be renting it. And B, you don't have a lease. So you may just pursue getting the property back and not worry about money damages. But let's see what we got for time for next Friday.
Your Honor,
Now, yes,
I did inform Colleen from the very first day that I couldn't just rent to anybody for any reason because of the zoning thing. So she immediately went right to Doug Kuhlman. I gave her the ammunition. But our apartment is in horrid shape right now. I have a video if we could play it. And my husband's cousin Sandy McLean Hummel is here because she was there.
well, we aren't there yet. We're just about possession.
Oh,
So if you
okay.
get her out and you want to sue her for money damages, you have to file a separate action. probably in small claims court.
But every day that she's there, wow,
Go ahead.
it turns into a mess. She smokes incessantly. It has got maggots hatching out and flies and filth.
Yes, no good deed goes unpunished. So you put her in there, you don't have a lease, she's a tenant at sufferance. I can't just throw her and her baggage out on the street. We have to go through this process. You've been at it since May, and that's really a long time, longer than it should take. You have to give her 30 days notice. Then you filed the hearing in July. I'm sorry, it took all the way from July 16th till now, but I was gone for 2 weeks in July and then I was gone for a week in August at the judicial conference. So here we are in late August. But I have to continue this at least 7 days, and she gets 10 days from that date to move out. So next Friday is September 5th. September 5th is afternoon day, and I would set this for 2 p.m. on 9/5/25 for a second hearing. Now, if you move by September 5th, that's not likely. But if you do move, you need to turn in the keys and give your forwarding address in writing within 4 days of your moving. There is no lease, there's no security deposit. But you're gonna need to get out of there. Now, they've got some concerns about smoking. Is there a smoke detector in there?
She took them all down.
No, I didn't.
All right,
They're
well,
gone.
I don't, so I've got some concerns about fire hazard in a barn, but also she says there's cleanliness issues. You're ready to move, you would like to move, but you haven't got
I would
anywhere to
love
move to. And so you've got 2 agencies working on moving you.
Yes.
And hopefully they can find something. Otherwise, we're gonna have this hearing, we're gonna address this next Friday by Zoom once again. You're all welcome to come here live. But we'll deal with it next Friday at 2 o'clock. The law requires that I set a second hearing. Didn't used to, but it does now. Then you get 10 days from that date to move, or you'd be subject to being evicted, which essentially gives you until September 15th to move. Or on the 16th, the sheriff could come out and put you and your stuff all out in the street. So that gives you 7 + 10, 17 days from today. From either of the agencies, do you have any knowledge whether she was paying $1,000 a month rent?
I have no idea, Your Honor. It's just kind of been back and forth. He said, she said. I have
Ms.
no idea.
Laughlin?
So Ms. McPherson did provide me with the text communications between herself and Mary since January. An extensive amount of communication where it was indicated and confirmed by Mary in text that she had been paying $1,000. They had an agreement about what the $1,000 would cover. There are some issues that about the notice to quit, kind of all of it. I mean, there's a lot. So
And you're not being picked up very well. What's your concern with the notice to quit?
So the paperwork that Colleen had received, it was back to back to that 30-day notice that said that was sent on May
10th.
served. On the back of that was a 5-day notice that they served on July 14th. That was the most recent notice. And then 2 days later, they filed the paperwork here.
Yeah, I think the notice is sufficient. If she served one on May 10th, and then she served another one on July 14th, the May 10th one would supersede, and she's got more than enough notice before the complaint was filed. At any rate, she needs to get out. She's not supposed to be living there. They're not supposed to rent it. There are some health and safety issues. There may be some money about whether rent was paid or not. But we're not about money at this hearing. We're about possession. And so once she vacates, if you want to sue her for money, you're gonna have to file a small claims case. But since it wasn't supposed to be rented in the first place, that may not go very far. So what you just may need to pursue is possession. All right, everybody on board, we're gonna deal with this next Friday at 2 p.m. All right, we'll address it at that time. And you're welcome to come back live again or appear by Zoom.